Hey y'all, it's Anna V, and you, my friend, are listening to the All-American Wing Shooting Podcast. I am a hunter, conservationist, mom of 2 girls I have raised in the outdoors, and a proud owner of a truck full of dogs. My passion is guiding you to confidence, sharing in tradition, and celebrating the true meaning of success in the field. Here we go. Hey y'all, it's Anna V, and you, my friend, are listening to the All-American Wing Shooting Podcast. I am a hunter, conservationist, mom of 2 girls I have raised in the outdoors, and a proud owner of a truck full of dogs. My passion is guiding you to confidence, sharing in tradition, and celebrating the true meaning of success in the field. Here we go. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of All-American Wing Shooting Podcast. We have a special episode of the Sporting Life Legacy series. Today, Kevin is not with us. However, we are here at SCI convention and we have Dan and Nick in the booth today to showcase exactly what is going on. And we're going to talk about the legacy of Griffin and Howe and how we got to this place.
Yeah, so we started in 1923, right? So we've been doing this 103 years. And we pioneered the fine sporting bolt action in the country. Like everybody was using 1903 Springfields back then. A lot of guys coming back from World War I, and that was the service rifle they were familiar with. So we took those barreled actions and turned them into very high-end sporting rifles. So that was Seymour Griffin, James V. Howe, and the classic writer Townsend Wayland, right, put those two together.
Right.
It was all inspired by Roosevelt's African Game Trails book. So it's a very interesting group of people got the company off the ground. And we've been doing that same thing since 1923 and expanding at the same time.
Exactly. Like, does anybody have the history that you guys have out of your gunsmith shop?
Not in America, not in this country. So, you know, we take that part of the business very seriously. We're able to shepherd our clients from maybe a newer hunter walking in the door wanting to place an order for a custom rifle, get the rifle fit to him, build it to his specifications, and then have him go hang out in the shooting school, take some long-range rifle lessons with our head rifle instructor, Tristan, work with Nick on getting outfitted for clothing, booking hunts with Mr. Polanish, our president. So you know, it's a comprehensive business model.
So we talk about every other week with Kevin all about the things going on in the shooting school, on the shotgun course, all this stuff, but we rarely get the opportunity to see really what goes on with the vastness of Griffin and Howe in their gunsmithing shop. So when I came into the booth and helped you guys set up, I'm not a rifle shooter. I do own rifles. They're like family heirloom kind of things.
Sure.
And it's been like the running joke that Tristan kicked me off the rifle range for practice because I wasn't as geeked up about teeing targets. He even got me out like 700-800 yards as I was going and shooting like a 20-yard clay because it explodes. You know, like, it was really funny. And so that's kind of been the running joke. However, you guys have a new product.
Yeah, we had 2. We have 2 rifles here that we're quite proud of that we've pioneered this year. This one's our Criterion rifle. This is the best thing we make. So this is a Mag Mauser double square bridge. We have our scope built integrally into the action. So QD scope rings. There's an integral rib barrel here. So all the work you see here, the front sight, the long rib, the quarter rib, that's all integrally machined from 1 2-inch barrel
And
blade.
that's the technical part that you're talking about. But if people can see the detail
That's right.
of this, the engraving here is unbelievable.
So this rifle's extremely functional. We took it to Africa, took 4 buffalo with it and a variety of other game, but it's also built to be beautiful, right? This is functional art, you know, at its finest. From the beautiful gun stock blank, you know, shaped as nicely as we can shape it, to young Mr. Rossiter's engraving. Right? So my brother's our master engraver, which is really cool to be able to work with your brother every day. But yeah, we built this to compete against the very best bolt rifles in the world. And I think we've achieved our aim. Even the stocks are fit to the client. Every single one of these is a bespoke order. So the client places the order, we have him come in. We do a very dynamic rifle fitting with him so that these rifles are fit specifically to the client in a rapid follow-up shot situation. just like with a fine double gun.
Yes.
And that's, you know, again, built for the individual. That rifle can hit the shoulder, instant sight alignment, so that they can take their follow-up shots, which in dangerous game hunting can kind of save your bacon. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, so that one has been around for a year.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. This is your brand new, the Highlander.
that's right.
And this was the one that I was like, if I ever wanted a rifle, I fell in love with this.
So this is a really interesting rifle. In its current guise, this is a mix of very new school and very old school technology. So it's a handcrafted stock, again, fit to the specific client that ordered this rifle. But we've got a proof research carbon fiber barrel. They make these just for us. They leave us areas to put express sights on.
Okay.
These are offered in 375 and both synthetic as well as wood.
Okay.
And what we're shooting for is we wanted a really versatile, good price point rifle to go along with the Criterion.
Right.
So the Criterion, it starts at $39,200, right? It's not going to be achievable for everyone.
Right.
These start at $11,750 and go up to about $28 in the Woodstock version.
Yes.
But the 375 Holland is a super versatile cartridge. If a person was only going to have one rifle chambered for one cartridge, this would be the one.
And the way this feels, I think it is so perfect for women. The balance, the weight, everything is just so comfortable.
Yeah, and that was the goal, right? This is a 8.5 pound rifle as it sits. You can carry it all day, but it's the proper weight for the cartridge, so you're not taking a beating when you fire this.
Exactly.
It's very, very comfortable to shoot. Some of that comes down to a proper stock design, which again, we take that very seriously.
So if we start recruiting our shotgun ladies to be crossovers like me.
Absolutely.
This is happening because we booked our trip to Africa, so we're going in August. And so it is a wing shooting trip, but however, it's like once you get over there, you just can't stop. You know, you just keep adding on experiences because you're there and you think, okay, well, it's going to be a year or maybe not. Like maybe it's going to be longer before I get to come back. So I don't want to miss out on an opportunity that's right in front of me.
So the PH I hunt with is named Mark Jensen. So Mark always says, if I've got a husband and wife that come out, and the wife says, oh, no, I'm not going to shoot anything. He's like, by day 2, he's like, find me a rifle. I'm taking it at Paula.
She's tired of sitting on the sidelines. That's so great.
Same thing's going to happen with your group.
This is such a perfect rival. We do talk about the gunsmithing shop a lot during our normal episodes, but this is the first time that I've actually had a camera with Chris sitting right beside me working away. So I really want to showcase what he's doing. He has brought his whole booth from the shop here to the show, and everybody's walking by. They've got a big screen up here so you can just sit and watch him with his custom creations. I know that Chris is the master engraver and you run the gunsmith shop.
Right.
But you guys have such a cool history because we also have your dad here, and if I can wave him down, I'm going to get him to pop his head in. So Papa Dan's what everybody started calling him. He is a riot, and he's such a glue to the booth. It's like he's kind of the mascot here. Everybody meets him once. Everybody wants to come by and give him a high five throughout the week. I mean, I took him to a cocktail party last night as my +1. It was like, come on, dude, we're going at it. And so it was fun for him to get even exposed to the litigation aspect and the advocacy here at SCI convention, because you guys are a huge pillar of our industry, and having our rights is so important for what we do. We are all about the lifestyle and building that family tradition, but you guys are living it. You're living it at Griffin and Howe.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting family dynamic, right? Because I started my own business, I don't know, almost 15, 16 years ago, right? My father was looking to transition out of horseshoeing. He's getting older, right? A little hard on the body, so I trained him in stock making. I had some engraving tools sitting there. Chris was working as a chef at the time. He's like, I don't want to do this forever. Picked up the engraving tools, started learning. And it's been really cool. And one of the great things about Griffin and Howe and working there, we've got a great president in Steve Polanish. Steve, when Steve brought me on board, Dad was able to work as an outsourcer for Griffin and Howe. Chris came on as our engraver. They hired my wife for events coordination.
Which I get to work with Rachel all the time, and we're like tag teaming ladies events. It's
Rachel's a powerful woman. So no, it is a family connection. that's a great thing about the hunting life in general, right?
Right.
It's like we've done this as a family for years, and we get to continue to do it with this company, and that's amazing.
I love sharing about the legacy of Griffin and Howe. The first conversations that Steve and I had when we sat down to really build a vision for bringing women up here, because my mission for A&V Outdoors is to help women build confidence through wing shooting, because I'm a bird dogger. That is my favorite thing. You guys provide so much more beyond that, and it was the coolest thing to sit down and just talk about building legacy. You guys build family legacy, you're building brand legacy, and really showcasing how these guests that come, because they're not customers. Everybody's a guest at Griffin and Howe, and you're automatically welcomed in as family, and then helping them, mentoring them to build their own legacy. So I have just loved being part of the team, because the culture is so special. And I talk about it all the time. It is just like my favorite thing. Yes, I love shooting there. I've become a better instructor for shooting and just being mentored by Kevin. I just feel like even my attention to detail, my connections with people, my appreciation for our industry has grown being connected here, because you guys live this every day. You live like...
For sure. And working with lady shooters is always, I mean, for me, it's always been a rewarding thing, whether I was fitting them for a shotgun and building them a shotgun stock,
right,
or simply shepherding them through, introduction to shooting.
Yeah.
Women are great to work with in this industry, because I don't know, it seems like there's less ego involved and more a willingness to participate and learn and absorb it all. So, women require different things out of the tool aspect, right? One of the things we do in the shop beyond the rifle building is a lot of stock making.
Yeah.
A woman's stock simply fits different. Mm-hmm. It's great to be able to cater to the ladies on the equipment right up through the shooting instructional side of things, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's prepping for a sporting clays tournament or shooting driven birds, whatever the case may be.
And fit matters. So, especially when we get women started, if they have the proper fit, they're gonna experience success so much quicker.
Absolutely.
And that eliminates people quitting before they actually get started. And so that's just so important, what you guys do. But Chris is sitting here. He had to bring his work from the shop to the show, and we're just over here spying over his shoulder, watching him work and create another one of a kind for some very special customer.
So he's working on a floor plate right now for one of our Griffin and Howe rifles, and he's doing a Celtic knot theme, which has been popular lately. I think this is the third kind of Celtic themed engraving he's done in the last year and a half or so. But yeah, we towed a mini version of his workstation here, set him up with a big screen TV so everybody can see what he's seeing through the microscope on the television. It's a great way to pull people into the booth.
Yeah, I think if we had seats out here, we would have a full set audience just camped out, right?
Yeah, theater seating and beers.
So if you're interested in this, because it is amazing, everything that he does is a work of art, but he's also been given free reign to build a vision of his own corner in the gunsmith room, and he is now going to be hosting an engraving school.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're partnering with GRS, who makes all of the equipment that Chris uses, and they run a really nice school out of Emporia, Kansas.
Yeah.
They're kind of stuck in the middle of the country, right? So we're their East Coast hub for engraving instruction.
That's so great.
So Chris will be teaching classes, and we have some master engravers coming out to teach a variety of classes as well. So that's a cool new thing we started up, and we're excited about it.
Yes, just constantly finding avenues to raise up the next generation.
100%.
Yeah.
Whether it's the next generation of lady shooters or the next generation of engravers, we also run an apprenticeship program out of the shop. So right now I've got 2 apprentices.
Wow.
They came out of gunsmithing school. We're training them. The one's concentrating on repair and restoration work.
Yeah.
A lot of shotgun work. My female apprentice, she's a very talented checkerer.
Oh.
So we're teaching her the full stock making.
Yes.
And what the goal with that is again to continue that legacy, the rifle making, the shotgun making legacy, and also give young gunsmithing students somewhere to further their career. And then we hope to train them and retain them. But
yes, I was a ball player growing up, right? I mean, a lot of us got thrown into balls. My heart was in horses, but
sure,
nobody wanted a farrier bill, right?
Right.
So, I did have a horse, but I didn't get to actually show as a child. And I played ball. And then when I picked up a shotgun, and I just fell in love with the lifestyle, the community, and then raising my girls in this world. I tell my parents all the time, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had just gotten me a shotgun instead of a basketball, you know?
Right.
Because at my age, when I started, you don't know the vastness of the industry until you've been in it a while. So this is the 10th anniversary of Vanity Outdoors, and I am sitting here thinking, man, I could have had like literally 10 other careers.
Sure.
Just because of the parts of this industry that I find so intriguing, like the engraving, because I went to fine art school. Of course, like, if I'd been exposed to this, I might have actually chose this path, but you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
You know, and
that's the hard part about life for passionate people, right? Because I'm a very passionate person with what I do. Is you seem like you run out of life before you run out of things to master.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. So I think it's so important. Like, we are here set up, you know, in the booth. People are walking by. We got people like looking at guns, all this cool stuff. But to bring your kids. And I know sometimes you just want to have like an adult weekend, but it's so important that these kids see opportunity and the vastness of the things that they could do, because every part here is a job, is a career, and it takes all of us to keep the industry going.
100%. Like introducing young kids to hunting, the sporting lifestyle, sporting clay shooting, wherever the case may be, is try to find that outlet for your kid in this industry, because it's something we can do for our entire lives, right? I can't run. He and I ran cross country for a while. I can't do that anymore. The knees aren't quite what they used to be, but I can shoot until I can't stand anymore.
Yes.
So it's an amazing sport to get involved in, because you can do it for most of your life.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a place, you're like, I don't know exactly how to get my kids started, but I know I want to expose them and figure out like what part of the industry that they love. Because I actually started in pistols. But like 3-4 years later, I got a bird dog, and then by the time she was 6 months, I was like, this dog's got to have a job. You know, she is bouncing off the walls. And so that's really what motivated me to pick up a shotgun. And so you just never know which like part of the world that your kid's going to gravitate to. And coming to Griffin and Howe and getting a 3-day trip to where you get to do pistols one day, you get to do rifles, you have a killer 3D archery course. That I haven't even got to tackle yet. I've only done archery inside. You know, even if you get caught and it rains one day, like, you can literally go into the basement with the 3D archery set up for training and shoot anywhere in the world, any animal that exists, as if you're in the wild. So, you know, I mean, that is set for people that are training for big hunts, but it's also a way to really capture the interest of people that are just getting started.
100%. The 3D simulator is really cool. So you can even shoot dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean,
on
like,
that thing.
we don't
It's
have
nuts.
any archery things here, but just showcasing like all the things that you guys have to offer, so beyond even what we could put here in the booth.
Oh, and it's the entire sporting lifestyle is what we have on the farm. That's the amazing thing about Griffin and Howe on Hudson Farm. If you want to learn fly fishing, we've got a person for that.
Okay, that is the thing that I haven't done there yet, but it is on the list. For sure, and I was hoping to get Tater up there because she loves fishing. She fishes probably half the week, the kids in the backyard fishing by herself, you know, and so I was like, well, she asked me one day, she said, Mom, will you please start fishing with me? I said, sure. So I picked up one of her new rods, went out there, and like my 4th cast, I caught the biggest fish that we had ever caught in our ponds. And I was like, I don't know if that was a good thing or not, but she didn't kick me out. So
next time you all come up and you got some time to kill, let me know. I'll take Tater fishing. I got a great spot for crappie.
Perfect.
So she can go with my kids. We'll have a blast.
Yeah, so Griffin and Howe, it does, you know, it is a very like high-end image on these things, but I cannot tell you how welcoming it is for people of all ages, men and women. That it's just set up for families.
We care about family. We care about hunters. We care about the sporting lifestyle. You know, whether it's rifles, shotguns, pistols, we have passionate people to train you on it, to talk to you about it, to outfit you for it. This is all
we talk about. And I don't think we've ever repeated our conversation, but we've done this for hours upon hours upon hours. And it's addicting. Well, I guess we need to look at all those shotguns that we have in here. It's about time.
I think it's Nick's turn to talk now.
So one of my favorite parts of Griffin and Howe, of course, is the shotguns. And Nick here is the fine firearms specialist there. And I don't wanted nothing more than be mentored by you because you're like a walking encyclopedia.
Well, thank you. I don't know if that's true, but I try.
Yeah.
I'm still learning every day. So every day, you know, we pick up a couple different things. Paul mentors me. Paul Chapman, our vice president. He's been with the company almost 50 years. Guy Bignell, who was our old president and CEO, also mentors me on it. So it's a lifelong pursuit, learning about these guns. But we have a couple we can talk about right now.
Yeah, I would love to.
If you want to hold this one.
You know I do.
So I'm gonna put this right here. So this is a gun that we had commissioned. So this is under the Julesbury name, and LeBeau Crowley made this gun for us. So a couple things of note on the gun.
Okay.
We'll start here. So I know side-by-sides aren't really in vogue right now, but
you know it's my favorite. That's all I shoot.
I don't think there's a better looking gun than this. Straight stock, splinter forend, rounded action.
So let's talk about exactly what that means because not everyone understands.
So this is a splinter forend as opposed to a beaver tail or a semi-beaver tail.
Right.
So
tell them why.
So this, well, if we have we'll have to go and look for a semi-beaver tail and a beaver tail. This is just a little bit more petite, a little more dainty. To me, I think it's the best looking. One thing you have to watch out for is the barrels will get hot, so that's why some people prefer to have a semi-beaver tail. Yep, so you would wear a glove. But it looks very elegant. So the lock work. This is an actual true side lock gun.
Okay.
With a beautiful game scene engraving. So we have pheasants on the left side of the lock plate, and on this side we have two woodcocks in flight, bordered by some nice scroll work, gold cocking indicators, and then the pins are colored. So just a really, really nice touch. We have a really nice long extended tang, and you'll notice on the front trigger it's articulated. So this just protects your finger on the second shot.
Okay.
So instead of just meeting this trigger, it gives
a little.
So your finger doesn't get bruised. One thing that that's also of note, so this is an Anson style push rod. So this was an English patent. So this is how you depress, or how you take off the forend. And that locks into this forend loop on the barrels. So here, we'll notice that these are chopper lump barrels. So that's the construction, that's how these barrels were constructed.
Here.
As opposed to a dummy block, or that could be, some people call that a dummy block. Now these are disc strikers, so this just makes it a lot easier to remove the firing pins in case of damage.
Yes.
So this is preferred on high quality guns. You'll notice the lock work is gilded, so it's washed in gold.
Right.
So not only is it very beautiful, but it also
there's not a detail left out. Right.
No. So this is what we would consider. It's not. It's a very high quality gun for a very good price.
And it says Griffin and Howe on there.
Yeah, so this is something that we
had. It's a piece of history.
Yeah, so we had this commissioned. And you'll also notice there's a third bite here to lock the barrels. So just a really well-made gun for a very good price, and I think should be in the cabinet of all sportsmen.
Maybe I just found my next one.
It's not a bad way to go. And then this is what many would consider. We can take this tag off, but this would be, many would consider this one of the finest guns made.
Yes.
This is a Fabry, so this is made in Italy. I'm gonna let you hold it. This particular one was engraved by Tomasoni, who's unfortunately no longer with us anymore. But this is a Diana, Goddess of the Hunt engraving.
Well, that is so fitting here because the Diana Award is it's the highest recognition for female hunters here within our the SCI group with the Sables. So that I don't know if anybody's ever talked about that before.
I don't know. But I was always really fond of that engraving, and I have not seen him do many in that style.
Right.
But I always thought it was unique and very well done. But Fabry are considered to be, Fabry is held in the same esteem as Boss, essentially.
Okay.
As, you know, some of the finest guns made. Their build philosophies are a little bit different. Boss still builds guns the way that they've always built guns. Fabry embraces the most cutting edge technology when they build their guns. But Fabry was inspired by Boss.
And I know that we're showcasing on the floor here at this show, like the elites, you know, and you guys cover all kinds of price points.
Right.
And I would say that you guys specialize in vintage guns as well.
We have, I mean, like, you want to see a really cool vintage gun? I'll bring it
one
over.
out.
Pardon me.
So that's the coolest thing, is that when I picked up a side-by-side, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the history of wing shooting in general, and, you know, the legacy of building and genetics with the dogs, just encompass the whole aspect of wing shooting. So Nick and I have these conversations all the time. He's educating me about the side-by-side world, and I really would love, if I ever got back into the competition world, to start going to these vintage shoots. There's only like maybe 3 or 4 around the country, but I think it's a great place for women to come and really live out the legacy of wing shooting.
Absolutely. Speaking of legacy of wing shooting, this is a greener.
Yes.
So greener is regarded as one of the pioneers, really, of best British gun making. In terms of, one would be his sheer volume of patents. So he was a prolific innovator in at the turn of I'd say the late 1800s. Early 20th century.
Yeah, so we talked about this one, maybe was from the 20s.
That's going to be an earlier gun. This is going to be late 1800s.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought, when I saw it, we were unpacking and getting set up, I was like, I think this is my new gun.
It's a really beautiful gun.
And then they told me that I would have to stick with light loads. Like we talked about, you know, I really want to be able to get a gun that I can take to the duck blind,
right?
And still have the nostalgia.
Right.
But I don't think this would be it.
That wouldn't be the one for the duck blind, but it could still be a great upland gun.
Or for the clay shoots.
You could, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you could. I think it's probably more at home on a nice walk-up shoot.
Yeah.
Than shooting clays or in a duck blind. It's really not meant for that. But it would be a great gun.
But you couldn't have something like this in your gun safe and not want to show it off.
No, you couldn't. It's still perfectly safe to shoot, and it deserves to be shot.
Because this is so interesting.
That's one of Greener's patents.
So can you see this when we open it? So when you move the tank, it releases here and allows the gun to open.
That's the Greener crossbow.
It's just so cool.
It's a very beautiful gun. This is his safety, which is one of my favorites. It's just very beautiful. It's a really, really, really nice gun for the right person.
Yeah. So what I love is we're going through a journey, right? Like we walk the floor every time that I come up. We look at the gun cases. The showroom, the pro shop at Griffin and Howe has everything to outfit you for any trip that you want to go on, no matter if it's, you know, head to toe Sitka gear and you're hiking mountains to full tweed and you're going to Scotland.
Absolutely.
You know, there's everything there. And so you've taken me through to show me the variety of guns there and then help me learn about them. So it's the investment that I'm making is not going to be like a quick one.
No. But we'll take, you know, this is a lifelong pursuit.
Yeah.
So we'll take you from start all the way, essentially. I mean, we're never finished, but we'll take you from the very beginning and get you ready for driven shooting, for safari, for driven bore.
So that's the thing, like just my interest got piqued and it was like, before I make this investment, I want to make sure that I'm finding the one that I want, because you can't just sit down and go, like new guns, you can go in and you just see a wall and everything is there.
Right.
But this it's not always available, right? So it's kind of looking for that one of a kind special fit.
Right. Well, and when we can, right now is a really, really good time to get into this market. If you're looking for a best quality British side-by-side or a side-by-side from some of the Birmingham makers or some of the not as well-known English makers that still produced exceptional quality guns, now is really the best time to get into that market. A lot of guns are coming into the United States, and if there is a gun that you're looking for, we can, that we don't have, we can always help you source that gun.
That could be something where somebody just had like a dream, and then you could help them find that, where I'm not even really exactly sure what I'm looking for, but I know that I know what it is when I pick it up.
No, and we're happy to advise our clients on what the right gun is for their particular application.
I'm enjoying the journey, so I'm like, what happens when I find it?
Right.
Like, I mean, of course, then you get to go hunt and shoot, but the journey of this hunt is like treasure hunting is super fun.
Absolutely. I mean, like if you saw a gun, let's say at Holt's, we can bring that gun over to the U.S. for you as well. But we have a lot of people in the U.K. That are always letting us know what's available. So we're always keeping an eye out for our clients for guns that are of interest to them. And we offer import-export as well.
Right, import-export. So that's on the gun side, but you and I are also talking about experience side. And it's more and more common now for people to start traveling to Europe, to Africa. It's always been kind of common for people to go to Argentina and shoot doves, but now these European shoots are becoming very popular. You and I have talked extensively about preparing groups for that experience, not only of what to pack, but the culture that they're about to be immersed in and what to expect. So we talked about setting up a full hunt experience, right, with simulated driven shoots, so that they understand like the meals and the culture of the, I guess, what is the shooting grounds and stuff that they're going to experience, because they just run things different with different types of leadership, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, if, let's say that we were going to put together a trip for a bunch of clients and we wanted to go shoot in England.
Yes.
We'll go to the Flurries field. We'll practice driven, make sure that everyone gets up to speed on what it's like to shoot driven birds. But also we can talk about the correct clothing, what the attire is, 11Zs, and take you through the whole trip. What the expectations are. Similarly, if you wanted to go to Morocco or Spain to shoot driven, it's all part of what we offer.
Yeah, I mean, it does relieve the stress of the unknown, but I think it also builds the excitement of knowing that the experience of Griffin and Howe would be amazing enough, but to know that you're about to go and do something even more cool, in the place where they've been bird hunting for how long?
For hundreds of years. Hundreds of years in that style, and it's something that we don't really do here.
Right.
So it's a great thing to go over and experience how other people shoot birds.
When I got to take a trip with Guy, who I know has been your mentor, and I was sharing these things with him and about just how to prepare women, and he was saying that would be probably the biggest thing for us to focus on, is just making sure that the real traditions aren't forgotten.
Right.
And I just appreciated that so much, because if we lose that, then, we lose quality of guns, we lose quality of respect for what we do. I see it in the dog world all the time, which you guys have launched a kennel now.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys have a phenomenal kennel with Garrison, and I just love being able to share the story, because people just don't know what they don't know.
Right. And part of what we do, so there's a couple components to it. One is this is our life. This is what we do.
Right.
A big component of that lifestyle is conservation. So it's the whole package. So whether it's running dogs, training dogs, breeding dogs, teaching people how to hunt over dogs safely, or if they just want, whether that's waterfowl, or if they need a retriever for driven, or if they need a versatile dog that can retrieve, that can work in the uplands, and that can handle the rigors of a driven shoot. That's part of what we do. But I think where we one of the big battles for us right now.
Yeah.
Is getting the next generation interested
Right.
in this lifestyle, and particularly in what makes a really, what makes a fine gun. Because right now we find that there's a lot of interest in I don't know how to, in the AR platform, for instance. But what we see is that the older people get, or the more invested they get into this lifestyle,
yes,
their interest starts to peak into the guns that we've been using for hundreds of years, that were, refined over hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they really are, like some of these guns, even though they're 100 years old, 150 years old, they're still essentially at the pinnacle of engineering and of craftsmanship.
Right, and people they just don't know because we don't share the message enough.
Right.
And I was also going to say there are plenty of shoots around the country here in the States that simulate what you would experience in Europe. So if that's just too much of a big step for the first time and you're just kind of unsure about traveling overseas, please call Griffin and Howe. Just call the show floor. It's like press 1 for Pro Shop, and Nick could actually answer the phone. And if not, ask for him. Pretty much anybody there can guide you on creating unique experiences.
Right.
And, we talk about how to set goals. Like in my women's program, Women in Wing Shooting, I always start, I'm like, let's set goals. Like, what's your goal for this mentor program? So if we're together 8 weeks, if we're together 12 weeks, what do you want to know? And sometimes women are just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to know. And so I start with SCI's put together record book list. And I start with a wing shooting one, and I talk about all the different species of birds that we have here in the States. We also have a record book for South Africa. We have a record book for South America. And it's like until they even can grasp at all the opportunity that they have, so you can't even create a plan, because it really is huge. And some people are like, I'm just a hardcore duck hunter and that's all I want to do. And they might even have their own place that they like to go annually. But there are some people that say, hey, I want to tackle this record book thing. Where's the best place to go to have the most unique experiences and be able to see all different types of habitat and different birds and really appreciate the uniqueness of each species? And so Griffin and Howe is a great place for you to call and let them guide you through building a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to help. I know we looked at some really nice guns today.
Yes.
But we don't have to start there.
Yeah.
Right? So we offer...
Hey, my first trip there, they hooked me up with a Beretta, and I even beat Steve. I mean, everybody. And I was like, y'all can come over with your fancy guns. It's so funny. But, you have everything, for the hunt at all price points. At
all price points. I mean, we really focus on trying to have a really good, high-quality inventory, but we also don't want to be prohibitive, because we are trying to get people into the lifestyle. We are trying to encourage people to come and hunt and to come and shoot at our shooting academy, which is the oldest in the United States.
And Dan and I also talked about the welcoming atmosphere for people to bring kids. And I can't think of anybody better to start a kid, than the shotgun guys.
Oh, it's
at Griffin Howe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In order for us to continue to have this, if we don't get them on board, we won't have it.
If you get a shooting lesson at Griffin and Howe for your kid, your kid's going to leave with a handful of adopted uncles.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've talked about so much on this podcast, but really Griffin and Howe offers everything that you would ever need to perfect your lifestyle in the pistol, the rifle, and the shotgun worlds. So, Nick, thank you so much for coming on and giving us a space here in the booth. It's busy and crazy, and that's what we love, right? We love all of these hunters coming in, sharing their stories, and getting prepped for their next hunt. So if you guys have any questions, please give us a call at Griffin and Howe or email me at annabyoutdoors@gmail.com.
As I leave this sleepy town, the sun is slowly rising and the fog is on the ground. dawn's finally breaking as I leave this sleepy town. The sun is slowly rising and the fog is on the ground.